What's up? What's up? What is up? And welcome to the Dr. Ali Griffith Show, Mindset, Meditation, and Motivation. And we are in for a special treat today because this is my special. This is a special where we're going to be speaking about autism. But many of you already know I am a proud, amazing mom to Zachary, who is 13. And I'm also an audiologist, speech language pathologist. I have been helping families for the last 20 years that are on the spectrum. And I've also created a wonderful book called Amazing Gift, A Journey to Autism Acceptance, which you can always get with the link below. And today we are going to speak to someone who also is a little bit more formal editor than myself. I am a writer, but I'm like a bootleg writer, right? I'm not this distinguished writer. I just wrote something about my journey just to help other moms along the way. But when we can find people out there that are doing it on the next scale, on the next level, that are connecting with other amazing families and getting that information out there about what it is to live with autism, whether it's to live with it as a person who's diagnosed with it, or to live with it as a family member who's supporting that person. And then our supporters out there who's just out here helping us out as our first line of defense. So she is Jackie Brown. She is an amazing, amazing being. She created this amazing magazine, which I'm going to show to you guys. For those of you who are watching, make sure you go to our YouTube channel at Dr. Ali Griffith, and you can see the wonderful cover of Outfox, which is a magazine that says celebrating, encouraging, and inspiring diversity and acceptance. It's for families with children with autism. It's for the autism world. She's going to tell you more about it. But what I had to tell you before she said anything is that Zachary was featured in it, and he's answering questions about a year or two ago. But she'll tell you some more. Guys, let me introduce you to Jackie Brown. Jackie, thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you about the magazine and to be part of your show. Outfox magazine is now going strong. We actually have just finished the best of Outfox. And what's so great about this magazine is that it was specially and custom made for kids on the spectrum. And it was kind of like me and my friend who was the founder of it. Her son was 8 and my son at the time was like 18-ish and was really having trouble moving from school to college and life beyond school. So we said, how do we prevent your son who's 8 having the same problems as my son who's older and also on the spectrum? So we thought, let's create a magazine that has a lot of their interests in it, but also which gently kind of encourages appropriate behaviors and which really looks at ways of raising self-esteem. And so the way we did that was by having, of course, all the fun stuff you have in a magazine, but also having things like the amazing brain, because our brains work in different ways. And so people think in different ways. We also had in it things like strange history. So we would kind of deconstruct some of the things that might make our kids a bit more anxious, things like haircuts and Halloween and all the scary things that happen around that. One of my favorite things, oh my goodness, is the ASD Superstars. And that one is Christina. And so we feature different ones with each magazine. And they would talk about themselves and like what they'd say, tell them about themselves. They'd say, when did you first become aware that you had autism? Did you have any troubles in schools? What do you love? What do you see for your future? And then they would give their words of advice.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, yeah.
Took a concept of, things that you were talking about naturally with autism, and you gave it a different spin and a different way to share with people. So autism moms like myself and teachers out there that are giving the information can use it in a fun way. Now, what made you think of using a magazine and such a fun, colorful, like, guys, when you see this or when you get this, you'll see this, like, this is everything. It's very professionally done. It just is attracting to anyone who sees it from far. What made you think to use a magazine as opposed to writing a book?
Because it's regular, so you could like say the same things over and over in a magazine, whereas if it was a book, it would be a one-time thing. My background was educational publishing, and it's another form of literacy. You know, you get information from books as well as magazines, so teachers liked it because it was another form. You know, there's chapter books, picture books, magazines, graphic novels, and so it's another form of literacy. You know, a lot of it was that the kids could look forward to getting it. It used to be monthly, it's now quarterly, and that it got kids off their screens for a bit.
Oh my
goodness. Those are many of the reasons we did it as a magazine.
That is everything, getting them off their screens. The minute you can, and guys, this is so interactive. When you watch it, there's science, there's real world, there's geography, there's word searches, there's so many quirky, cool things that can catch a child's attention in some way. So for my amazing moms out there, or just moms out there that are listening, what I heard her say was she had a skill, she had her gift, something that she did already within literacy, and she just shifted it towards something where she personally experienced and had a personal passion for. So that's usually the beginning of entrepreneurship. Like when you want to step out on your own. Now tell me, were you afraid of doing this at the beginning? What were your fears that made you hesitate? And how long was this idea in your head before you decided to press play?
Yeah, well, we were super confident, as a lot of entrepreneurs are. And we just thought, you know what, this idea is so amazing. It's going to take off in a minute. So it took us about 3 months to get the prototype out. But it's been hard keeping it going because we need more subscribers and we need more. And because we at first because it was monthly, we put all our effort into the content. And so then by making it quarterly, we have more time to market. And one of the things I want to mention that's really amazing that we do is that we give autistic youth a chance to gain real professional experience. And so like we had one of our guys who got into college based on a portfolio that he built up by producing some of the illustrations.
So here's another opportunity. What I like that Jackie does is that she includes individuals or kids on the spectrum or young adults on the spectrum to be part of the magazine.
Right.
I remembered when you reached out to me and you said, hey, Dr. Ali, you know, if you have Zachary, and I think Zachary at that time was probably like 8 or 9, like he was just the beginning stage where he can actually answer a question. And she would say, if I send you a question, do you think he'll be able to answer? And I said, well, let's give it a try. And that began our journey of me seeing really was Zachary at that stage where he felt comfortable answering questions. And sometimes I would say, okay, it's a no-go this week. He's not answering this one. And then sometimes he'll be like full steam ahead and I record it and I'll transcribe it and I'll send it in. And this is way before he started writing. So parents out there, you definitely want to get in touch with Jackie to see how you can support her to keep this thing going. First of all, make sure you're subscribed. And then also see how that, you know, to see how your child or to see if there's even a possibility of how you can be a part of it. And if not a part of it, then you can be a definite supporter of it. It's amazing when we have people that are stepping forward and boldly showing autism in a different light. And for them to feel good that there's a magazine out there for us, right?
Yes. You got to see yourself represented to start feeling good about yourself. That we've got like ASD superstars and we have our articles that are created for them, not about them, but for them, based on helping them to become the best they can do. And also that it helps older youth and young adults to get professional job experience that they can put on their resumes. Because we know our guys don't necessarily interview well. And so in this way they were actively sought out.
So tell me then, how do you modify, because I already shared one way. You send the parent the question and you'd have the parent, you know, figure out a way what worked best for them to get the answer back to you. What are some other modifications that you had to do to include them that maybe you wouldn't have to do with other kids?
A lot of it was to work with the parent first, because then the parent could help me to keep them on task and to get it back on time. One time I got a grant, and so I had the kids in the office with me, and I had a business coach who helped by starting the week with what we wanted to do in the week, and we ended it with what we managed to achieve and what we wanted to do the following week. And then on top of that, I had a teacher who, it was her summer off because it was summer jobs, and she used to come in most days and just kind of reinforce what the plan was for the day. So by having that support, that extra repetition of what was required, it helped the students to do well and get what they wanted out of the job, the placement. And yeah, so we
It's all
got a
about
good
that
time with
support.
it.
It's
Yeah.
all about support. It's all about us not doing it alone, knowing that we can get support out there. Those who are listening right now, you are a supporter. You're now an Outfox Magazine supporter. Just the fact that Dr. Ali Griffith is in your ears right now and letting you know how we can support each other. Now, the reason why this podcast was created, the reason why this show was created is because I wanted to make sure I am using my gift, which is my voice, my ability to connect and communicate with you out there so that it can inspire, motivate, and to get you into action. It's never just to listen. Sorry, guys, I'm not that one. But I am the one where you get the information and then you have to now move into action so that we can all do our part in this. So if you're listening to this right now, definitely make sure you go out and you follow. Make sure that the link is going to be at the bottom for those who are watching this on YouTube, or at the show notes for those who are listening to it in a podcast or auditory way. So I'm going to ask you our general question that we ask everyone else. Do you have a source of meditation or something to help you to get through this? I know it can't be easy doing all this work, and still you probably have, something else that you do every day and be a parent. What do you use to keep you zen?
I subscribe to the Calm app, and not only does it have like really short meditations that you can use at all times, it has bedtime stories because I have real trouble falling asleep at night. And so just like it helps kids go to sleep, those bedtime stories, like with the soothing voice, helps me quiet my mind at the end of the day.
Oh my goodness. Speaking of soothing voice. So when I first started working in this field as a speech therapist, and I worked with families with children with autism. So parents used to wonder, well, why is it that whenever they came to your session that they were so calm? And I would tell them, I think it's the voice. Like when I was younger, I had this deep bass voice and I did not like my voice. I was like, who is that man? And I began to grow and learn into it that it actually is sultry. I'll go with sultry. And it's calming. So when you can use a practice that you have that auditory information that's soothing, that has that the bedtime stories, parents out there, I love to, or just individuals out there, people out there, as you're listening to this, and I always like to share these practices because I think we all should have some way to keep us calm through these storms, keep us calm through unexpectedness. And as especially as parents, our storm is like almost every day. Like we're just like, okay, when is the storm? And is it a big storm or a little storm? And how do we manage this storm? So I am constantly making sure that we have sources that we can shift, that we can do self-reflections and to get ourselves self-regulated, because we as parents have to self-regulate also. It's not only our kids, we have to self-regulate. And then the last question I always leave you is, you were sent here today to share a message about Outfox Magazine, which you guys are going to make sure that you guys follow, make sure you get the information, definitely make sure you subscribe and get a friend to subscribe. And even if you can get a school to subscribe, if I have any principals or administrators out here, I mean, let's think big. Dr. Ali, as a mompreneur on fire, we don't think regular. So if any of you guys know doctors' offices that would like to get subscription, if you know companies, organizations, if you know schools or autism groups that can subscribe on a regular so they'll get more than one, then that would be the best way that you can support. We can support on a basic level, or we can support on that beast mode level. Basic or beast mode. Let's go beast mode. My question I always leave them with is, you were sent here today also to share your message about your magazine. What else do you think, what message do you think that you were sent here to leave our listeners with out there today? Something you think that just lays on your soul right now that you want to leave us with to help them get through whatever they're going through right now, the reason they tuned in. Guys, make sure that you follow everything else that we have. Make sure you go and binge watch, listen to another one. But before we leave, I just want to make sure Jackie leaves us with some words that she was specifically sent here to give us today. What is it?
I think that my words for you out there today is that what my magazine will do for you is it gives you this, it's almost like candy because it's a fun resource. And these kids, they get involved with this, they're sitting there reading it, and you can know while they're quiet, while they're looking at this magazine, that they're getting something good for them, because that's what the magazine does. It uplifts. It tells people that you're different, not less, but mainly that, man, are you awesome. That's what I want to say.
Woo, woo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, Jackie. Thanks for just coming in and leave us with these words, not only words and information, but tools, right? So you get to learn some information, you get to get motivated, and you get your what's next. You get some tools, whether it's for you, whether it's for someone else you know. Do your part. Let's motivate most of these families that are living through this process. We know what it looks like, so that's why we're using our time and our platform to share it with the world. Guys, continue listening, continue watching, continue following us. Listen to another one. Go tell a friend to come back in and listen so that we can keep getting our messages further and further and further out there so that we have a platform to share about moms that are here igniting our dreams based on whatever we were blessed with, what we were given with, to now help other moms in their situations, and dads out there who listen. Whether you have a child on the spectrum or not, we all go through exceptional challenges and we all have to traverse through it and learn through others. I appreciate you, and no matter what, be amazing in your thoughts, your words, and in your actions. Until next time, peace.